there's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
It's too stressful, and frankly, I do not have the nerve.
Our rights are on the line, folks.
The right to buy Cosby
rights.
sweaters?
Can a dream role turn into a nightmare? Rachel Zegler thought she'd hit the jackpot when she landed the lead in Disney's 2025 Snow White remake, a chance to bring a beloved fairy tale to a new generation. She poured her heart into the project, ready to shine as a modern princess. But behind the scenes, everything unraveled, from fiery disputes to a box office flop and whispers of a brand new version starring someone else. This is the story of how one film became a Hollywood storm. And trust me, what happened next will leave you stunned. But
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken joe.
Rachel Zegler was over the moon when Disney cast her as Snow White. Fresh off her breakout role in West Side Story, she saw this as her golden ticket, a chance to join the ranks of Disney's live-action heroines like Emma Watson and Lily James. The 1937 animated classic had charmed audiences for decades, and Zegler wanted to honor that legacy while adding her own flair. She spoke in interviews about crafting a Snow White, who wasn't just a damsel waiting for a prince, but a leader who shaped her own destiny. It sounded like a winning plan, but not everyone was on board, and that's where the trouble began.
The future of Hollywood is being battled out right now in theaters as two live-action remakes from the biggest studios in Hollywood go head-to-head. Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
Zegler's vision for a bold, independent Snow White didn't sit well with everyone. She wanted a princess who stood tall, making choices that reflected strength and self-determination. In interviews, she called the original story outdated, saying the 1937 Snow White relied too heavily on a prince to save her. Fans of the classic bristled. To them, Snow White's kindness and resilience were timeless, not flaws to be fixed. Social media lit up with accusations that Zegler was dismissing a cherished piece of Disney history. The backlash grew louder, and it wasn't long before the set itself started to crack under the pressure.
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
Filming Snow White was anything but a fairy tale. The production hit one snag after another. Scripts were rewritten, directors clashed, and release dates kept slipping. What started as a 2024 target got pushed to 2025 as reshoots piled up. Greta Gerwig, known for her sharp storytelling, tried to blend classic fairy tale vibes with a grounded modern edge, but even her touch couldn't tame the chaos. Insiders say the set felt like a pressure cooker, with Disney's top execs, including CEO Bob Iger, breathing down everyone's necks. They wanted a blockbuster to rival the studio's biggest hits, but the constant changes left the story in limbo, and then things got personal.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Rumors of a feud between Zegler and her co-star, Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen, started to swirl. On paper, their dynamic sounded electric, a young star facing off against a Hollywood heavyweight. But on set, their styles clashed hard. Zegler pushed for a Snow White who was unshakably moral, while Gadot leaned into a darker, more unpredictable take on the queen. During a climactic fortress scene, their intensity boiled over. Insiders say it took dozens of takes to get it right, with the two stars' visions pulling filmed the scene in opposite directions. The crew was caught in the middle, scrambling to keep to keep things on track, but the real blow was still coming.
Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
When Snow White finally hit theaters, it sank like a stone. In its first 3 weeks, it couldn't even match what Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie made in a single weekend globally. Picture this: packed theaters cheering for Minecraft's blocky adventure, while Zegler's film played to near empty seats. Posts online mocked the contrast, with some joking that Zegler was the only one watching her own movie. The numbers were brutal. Minecraft raked in $300 million worldwide on opening, while Snow White scraped by with a fraction of that. Critics called it a misfire, saying the story felt disjointed, caught between whimsical and grim. For Zegler, the disappointment was crushing, but an even bigger shock was around the corner.
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event, encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform.
Then came the bombshell, whispers that Disney was already planning a new Snow White remake, this time with Jenna Ortega in the lead. No official announcement, just leaks and speculation that spread like wildfire. Ortega, riding high from her success in Wednesday and Scream, was reportedly Disney's new pick to bring the princess back to life. The news hit Zegler like a freight train. After years of pouring her soul into the role, she learned about the rumored reboot the same way fans did, through social media buzz. Insiders say she felt betrayed, wondering if Disney had lost faith in her vision. But what was the studio thinking, and why the sudden pivot?
It is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids movie should be. Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you.
Zegler's world started to crumble. Sources close to the set say she broke down, overwhelmed by the idea that her dream project might be shelved or overshadowed. It wasn't just about losing the role, it was the sting of seeing Disney seemingly give up on her. Online, fans piled on, some twisting her earlier comments about the original film into proof she doomed the remake. Others spread memes, joking she'd tanked Disney's legacy single-handedly. It was unfair, but in the social media age, nuance gets buried under hot takes. Zegler pulled back, avoiding interviews as the rumors about Ortega's version grew louder. And Disney, they weren't exactly clearing the air.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP.
The studio stayed tight-lipped, offering vague excuses about scheduling or finishing touches when asked about the film's future. But behind closed doors, panic was setting in. Some execs pushed for a quiet theatrical release, hoping to slip Snow White into theaters with minimal fanfare before dumping it on Disney+. Others argued it shouldn't hit the streaming platform at all, fearing it would clash with Ortega's rumored project down the line. Test screenings didn't help. Word leaked that audiences found the tone uneven, jumping from lighthearted to dark without warning. Disney faced a tough call: release a flawed film and risk their reputation, or cut their losses and move on. But the fans had their own ideas.
The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion. Everyone knows this. So the film received a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but 87% fan approval. The rankings were very similar to Snow White, which received a 40% critic score, 73% audience ranking. Yeah, right.
Online, the Snow White saga split viewers down the middle. Zegler's supporters rallied, arguing she was unfairly targeted for wanting to modernize a dated story. They pointed out her passion and talent, saying Disney's mismanagement was the real issue, but critics weren't holding back. They cheered the idea of Ortega taking over, hoping her version would stick closer to the 1937 classic's warmth and charm. Hashtags flew, memes multiplied, and debates raged over whether Zegler's bold take was a mistake or a misunderstood gem. Meanwhile, Ortega stayed silent, her team dodging questions about her involvement. The drama was far from over, but one question lingered above it all.
Rachel Zegler, who was cast in the title role, but some diehard fans were upset that Zegler, who identifies as Colombian American, was cast to portray the Disney princess. It got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made $2.
So, what's next for Rachel Zegler's Snow White? Could it still find an audience, maybe earning praise for its daring spin on a classic? Or is it destined to be a footnote, a warning of what happens when a studio and its star pull in different directions? Disney's silence leaves us guessing. But one thing's clear, this fairy tale didn't get its happy ending. As the studio eyes a possible reboot with Jenna Ortega, the bigger question is whether they've learned anything at all. Will they play it safe or risk another bold swing that could spark the same fire? Only time will tell, but this saga proves one thing. Sometimes the Bureau say the real story isn't in the movie, but in the mess it leaves behind.